So this is my holy grail bag. Can you guess what color I got? So this unboxing and reveal is actually long overdue as I picked this up from May of last year. So I bought this bag pre-loved from a local buy and sell platform in Hong Kong called Carousel. So I'm going to do a quick reveal of the bag. I'm going to show you what fits, a couple of modeling shots, and I'm going to talk about why I bought this bag pre-loved. And then I'm going to talk about the process of purchasing this bag because I was honestly quite nervous because I have never purchased anything pre-loved and through the secondary market before. Plus I was buying this from a private seller. So there is a bit of a story time after I show you the modeling shot. So make sure you stick around for that. So let's go to the reveal. Can you guess what color it is? And if you've followed me for a while, you can probably guess my favorite color, but if there was one and only one pop color I would have purchased from Hermes, this would have been the color. So are you ready? Ta-da! It is a Bolide 25 in the Epsom leather in the color 5P or bubblegum pink and the palladium hardware. And you can see I have a Pegasus on there already and a small twilly here on the top. So let me show you what this kind of looks like and what I have inside so you get an idea of what fits in this bag. So here is the front or back. Here is the side, and that has a tab right there. The other side, and this is the clochette. It has keys inside. And here is the other side, and there is a lock that goes down here. So you could actually lock it down there and lock it to this tab, but actually I find that this is quite heavy. So generally I would just store away this lock and use it as is. Here is the shoulder strap that it came with. And of course it has the 5 feet here on the bottom. So let me show you what fits inside. You can see it's open via this zipper on this side. So I'm just going to pull that open. So that's a very smooth zipper. So you can see the contents are full. I wouldn't say it's totally full, but generally I don't like to stuff my bags anyways. So here there is a foil stamp here. I don't know if you can see it. It says Hermes Paris made in France. And it has one slip pocket on this one side. And then it also has another slip pocket on here. Let me just take my contents out. So I have this little towel inside. It's just for when I go out and I wash my hands. And sometimes there are no towels to wipe your hands, so I like to keep that handy inside. Especially when the tap is really cold, you want to dry your hands right away. I also have inside my Prada wallet. So this is a compact Prada wallet. I like that it has cards on the interior and also on the exterior, and then I love that I don't have to fold my bills, and it's got some places for coins here, so really enjoying this wallet from Prada. I have a pair of sunnies in a Velextra case. So this is a pure leather case from a brand called Velextra. They also make handbags, but this is really for my sunglasses. I have my reading glasses. These are my flat pair so that they can fit in most of my bags. Hand sanitizer from Aesop. A lipstick, lip gloss from Chantecaille. A nano bag in case it starts pouring rain or I need a grocery bag. And finally, a pen. I do have a bag insert inside, so I can show you that. This is from Arc Diary. This is not sponsored. I purchased this with my own money, and you can see that it's a pink color to match the bag. And this one is made out of a nice cotton and it's nice and squishy. So I really like a lot of their organizers. So if you're interested in any of their organizers, I will put links in the description box below. Now I did also pick up this bag insert from a company called Bag Trunk, and they only ship within Japan, but I thought this was quite pretty. It's pink and it is a customized one. Again, this is not sponsored. I just thought this was really pretty, as you can see here. and you can see the interior has this beautiful floral lining. So I placed that in there and it's a perfect fit. Again, this is not sponsored, so I thought I would just share that in case you're interested. What I found is really interesting is that the internal materials are a bit plasticky, so I guess that will protect from spills. And it's got this pocket here and here, and you can just hear the sound. So it's kind of like this synthetic material in case you spill anything inside. I thought that was like a nice touch. So in addition to the strap that it came with, I did order a couple of aftermarket straps. And again, these are not sponsored. So there's a pink one, as you can see here, and then there's another one that has a bit of pink and yellow. So if you're interested to see how these look on me and to compare the strap sizes for the Bolide 25, make sure you stick around to the end so I can show you a couple of modeling shots to see how long they look on me depending on the length of the strap. So let's get into a bit of why I bought this bag and the process to which I purchased this bag. So let's talk about why I bought this bag. So the first time I ever saw this bag was on Jessie's Style YouTube channel, and if you haven't subscribed to her yet, I highly recommend that you subscribe to her. She revealed this bag about 1 year ago, and oh my goodness, it was love at first sight. I am a Sanrio lover and I also love the color pink. So this was a perfect pop of pink for me. If I was ever to buy a pop of color from Hermes, it would definitely be this color. And I knew this color would work for me because I also own the Prada nylon bag, which is this bag. And I have also been using this bag nonstop, either on its own or with my tote bag for work. And I find that it goes with a lot of my clothing because I also wear a lot of pink. So I knew for sure this color would work for me. So you can see that the colors are quite similar. They're not the same, but they're similar enough that I knew this color would definitely work for me. So I wanted to also talk about why the Bolide. So in general, I found that with Hermes, I tend to use my non-quota bags more, which is non-B, K, or C, or actually I use Constance the most out of B, K, and C. But I wanted a casual everyday bag, and I also do not own the Bolide, and I know in terms of practicality, a lot of people rave about this bag. I didn't want a bag that was too big because it's pink, but I also didn't want to go for the mini Bolide because that's a little small for me because I tend to want to carry my reading glasses with me because unfortunately I'm at that age. I need to carry these around along with a couple more items. So I find the capacity of this bag perfect for every day. The 31 is also really nice. However, I think that one's more for work, but I wanted more of a casual everyday bag, so I thought this was the perfect size. Some of the features I really like about this bag is that firstly, it's understated. A lot of people who don't follow Hermes will not know this is an Hermes bag, and it doesn't have anything that is kind of screaming Hermes. I love that it has a shoulder strap because I always can use a shoulder strap. And finally, this one also has a zipper just to make sure the contents of my items are safe and secure and that they don't suddenly drop out. And I also don't have to worry about pickpockets who could potentially go into an open tote. I absolutely could not stop thinking about this bag, and I knew I wanted to pick up this bag before I left Hong Kong. So next I want to talk about how I purchased this beautiful bag on the secondary market. Now in general, I have purchased all my Hermes bags directly from the boutique. So actually the experience was a little nerve-wracking. However, I wanted to take you through my experience just to share it with you in case you're thinking about doing the same thing. So I had kind of decided that the Hermes journey was over for me after my Hermes essay had left after last year. I was able to score my Picotine, which you saw the unboxing for online. However, I didn't really want to go and restart a new relationship, have to do a lot of solid pre-spend, and I wasn't sure if I would be able to get this exact bag. So this bag came out around 2022, and by the time I was looking for this bag in 2023, I wasn't really sure if they would have stock. And like I said, my essay had left and I didn't want to do the whole pre-spend. And generally, Bolide is not as popular as the BKC, and so the resale value doesn't tend to be as high. So you can generally find the Bolide at a good price on the secondary market. Originally, I also was considering to buy these on various platforms. There are bunch of reputable platforms that will sell this bag, but either they didn't have it on stock or the price was actually quite extortionate. And so I decided to look in the market locally in Hong Kong. And luckily for me, there's actually a lot of supply of Hermes bags in Hong Kong because there's actually a lot of girls that carry luxury bags, including Hermes bags. So I looked through a platform called Carousel. This is a local buy and sell platform, and you deal directly with the buyer or seller. Both the buyer and sellers have ratings. It's not to say that people haven't been scammed on this platform, so you actually have to be very, very careful. However, while I was looking through the platform, there were a couple that were sold by stores, and there were also a few private sellers. I could have gone the store route, but again, because they tend to take a large cut on the commission, the prices tend to be slightly higher. So I found this seller online. I noticed that the bag had been listed for quite a few months and there were no buyers. However, I looked on her profile and it looked really good. The ratings were really high, and I noticed that her profile looked like a genuine seller. Like, if you see profiles where it's just like a lot of bags in a lot of different colors, it's kind of questionable. But I saw that her profile was mainly some Hermes items, a couple of bags, fashion items, household items, and makeup. And they kind of were consistent in terms of her palette and her style. So the impression from the profile looked very sincere. And so I reached out to the seller, and she was pretty quick to respond, and we decided to meet outside at a public venue to look at the bag. So just a disclaimer here, I feel that buying secondhand can be high risk, especially if you don't have any experience with the brand of the bag that you're buying, because there are some small nuances about the bag that make it real or fake. And if you've never handled the real bag before, it could be hard to differentiate real from fake. And these days, there are also a lot of really good fakes. So I always highly recommend that you buy directly from the shop or to go through a reputable seller. So in my case, because I already own several Hermes bags, I feel I somewhat can tell if a bag is real or fake. It's not to say I'm an authenticator and I know 100% for sure, but I feel like I've handled enough Hermes bags to know generally if the bag is real or fake. The other thing is that the Bolide bag is not generally a highly sought after bag, so there are not as many fakes of the Bolide bag. I noticed that there tend to be more fakes of the mini Bolide, but in terms of the 25, probably not as much. And generally, the people that are making fakes will generally try to make more of the more popular colors such as gold, Aesop, or black, whereas bubblegum pink is a bit of a rare color, and sometimes it's not as easy to sell because it's kind of a love it or hate it type of color. And so I felt relatively safer. However, again, it's not foolproof, so make sure you do your due diligence, and I highly recommend you either go directly to the shop or a highly reputable seller to avoid a fake, because these are so expensive. Having said that, because this color and this combination was hard to find, I was kind of willing to take the risk, but of course I was also very careful. So in terms of pricing, this bag was not the most expensive. As I mentioned, there were some online platforms that were totally gouging the price, maybe because the commissions were really high, but she was also not the cheapest. I would say that I got this bag slightly below retail. And of course I could have gone to the shop, but again, I wasn't sure if they would still have this bag in their inventory because this color was from over a year ago. But prior to meeting the seller, I did check all of her photos. I asked if it was full set, and she said it was full set. And also she had a copy of the receipt. And the receipt was from the Hong Kong Hermes shop, which I'm also very familiar with. And so I have a lot of experience of collecting the receipts. So I have a good idea of what their receipts look like. So after texting her, we decide to meet at a public venue, and I always highly recommend you meet somewhere where it's quite public just for safety measures. And she recommended that we meet at the Starbucks at a local shopping mall, and it's a very reputable shopping mall with a lot of traffic, so we decided to meet at the Starbucks there. Now, of course, I was also a little nervous because if I had to bring out the big orange box and kind of glaze through the bag, I was kind of worried would someone see me with a new bag and try to rob me, but she gave me comfort that she's done this several times at Starbucks and that it would be fine, and definitely it was really good. So when we got to Starbucks, she was really friendly. She opened up the package and showed me all the items, and I had time to slowly inspect the bag. I checked the bag's exterior, the interior, the zippers, and also the stitching, because sometimes the stitching will give it away. I also tried to smell the bag, because if it's a real bag, it should smell of leather and it shouldn't smell of glue. Unfortunately, I don't know why I could not smell the bag at the time. I tried several times, but I just could not smell the leather. And so I did take a chance in a way, but everything kind of looked good. And so I was pretty comfortable to do the trade. Also, while I was talking to her, I asked her about the bag, how she had purchased the bag, and I also asked about her purchase history with Hermes and where she shops and what she likes. And from the conversation, I could tell she was a genuine Hermes lover and that she had purchased this bag from the Hong Kong shop where I generally shop in Hong Kong. So I could tell she was a genuine Hermes lover. And the reason why the bag was not sold for a long time is because she spends a lot of her time also overseas. So when she's overseas, she's unable to answer to people who are interested in the bag locally in Hong Kong. But I was really lucky she happened to be in town, and so we were able to meet up and do the trade. Another thing she told me was that she was also an Hermes pink lover, and I really believed her because she was wearing pink accessories, and pink is a color either you really love it or you really hate it. And generally, if you are a pink lover, you generally will have some form of pink on you or around you, and she was wearing pink accessories, so I totally believed her. So finally, after the inspection and a great conversation about Hermes, I was ready to do the money transfer. It was a little complicated because I tried to do a third-party money transfer to her, and because it was my first time purchasing a Preloved bag from a seller, I wasn't able to transfer her the full amount of the bag because my limit to do third-party transfers was very low, and so it was kind of embarrassing. But luckily, she felt comfortable enough to go with me to the ATM machine, which was upstairs on the third floor of the mall. So we both went up there, and then I did the transfer at the machine. And what gave me further comfort is that the name on the receipt matched the name of the bank account that I was transferring to. So I knew that the bag actually belonged to her personal collection, and she had actually purchased it from the Hermes shop. That was an extra point of comfort for me. Of course, she was also a little nervous because she doesn't often sell her personal collection to strangers. However, I did tell her I do have a YouTube channel if it comforted her to let her know that I am a legitimate buyer, because there are actually buyers who are also scammers. So Abby Lee, if you are watching, hi, thank you so much for your trust and selling me this bag. This is definitely my holy grail bag, and I will absolutely love, cherish, and use this bag forever. In fact, I remember you told me that you love the color Rose Mexico. So when I was purchasing an insert, I purchased this one because it has a Rose Mexico type of theme, just to remind me of the generous seller that sold me this bag. So thank you so much, Abby, and I hope we have chances to meet in the future wherever you are. So after I purchased the bag, obviously I took it home, and again I tried to sniff the bag, and I don't know why, I just could not smell anything on this bag. I don't know, maybe Epsom is just harder, but I actually kind of looked at the small details and I took a bunch of pictures and I sent it to Jessie Style because she has the exact same bag and she was really nice, and she also confirmed a lot of the details of her bag with my bag just to kind of semi-authenticate the bag. Now I can bring this bag to an authenticator and pay them to get it authenticated, or even in Hong Kong there are people who will meet you at the point of sale where you're buying or selling the bag and they can authenticate it for you on the spot. However, I generally feel pretty confident about this bag, and maybe in a couple of years if I decide I want to spa the bag, I can always bring it back to Hermes and definitely they would be a final authenticator, although I feel pretty confident about this bag that it is a legitimate Hermes bag. So like I said in my last video, if you watched it, there are actually no other Hermes quota bags that I am currently after, and to be really honest, I generally use my non-quota bags a lot more. So if there are any more future bags I want to purchase, I definitely would consider the Preloved route. Obviously, it's much safer to purchase it from a reputable seller, and generally if you're not going after quota bags, you can get some pretty good prices on some of these Hermes bags that are not as popular. So okay, if you're still with me now, let me show you some modeling shots of this bag with the original strap and also with some of the aftermarket straps. For reference, again, I'm approximately 163 centimeters tall or 5'3". If you're interested in any of these aftermarket straps, I'll try to leave a couple links in the description box below. Again, these are not sponsored. So that is my long-winded story about why I bought this bag and how I bought this bag. It was a bit of a nerve-wracking experience, but I feel it was really worth it. And this is definitely by far one of my favorite bags, mostly because of the color, but because it's also a very practical bag. I am so happy I was able to get this bag in Hong Kong. So what do you think? Have you ever purchased a Preloved bag from a private seller before? How was your experience? And do you own the Bolide bag? And if you do, let me know what size you use and what you favor. So far, I've been really enjoying this bag, and if I need a future work bag, I definitely considered 31, but for now, I'm super happy with this 25 size. Thank you so much for joining me for this reveal and my long-winded story time. I hope this video was interesting for you and that you learned something new from this video that was helpful for you. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down below. And if you haven't done so already, please feel free to like and subscribe. I do have a couple of more bag unboxings coming up. They are non-Hermes bags. I'm just a little behind schedule, but I hope to get them in soon. Thank you so much again for joining me today. I hope you have a fabulous day and we'll see you next time. Bye bye now.